excited.
Here we go. Floor 7. This is me. So come in here. And this is female swings and standbys in this room. This is our cute little humble abode. And this is my corner. Okay.
Tell me what a standby is.
A standby. Okay. A standby is an offstage cover for a principal role. Sometimes you can cover 1 to 3 roles. I cover 1. And as a standby, you come here every day just like everybody else. Yes. You know, we're not sitting in makeup. We're not sitting in costume. We're not like waiting, but we are standing by just in case there's an emergency. Someone has to go in mid-show or anything like that.
And so then what was it like the first time you did go on for Anna?
It was a whirlwind. It was the day before the first understudy rehearsal.
I'm sorry, what?
'Twas the day before the first understudy rehearsal.
Were you panicked?
I wasn't panicked, surprisingly.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, but there's no time for nerves. But as a standby, we are an off-stage cover, so they're getting the main people ready that are playing, you know, gonna do it 8 times a week. So yeah, when they called me, I freaked out a little bit. We were at work, it was a 2-show day, and Patty was under the weather, and so we're sitting up here, and we can see on the screen, and we can hear, and the dance captain and the swing, and everyone is like, hey, so do you want to, like, prep your hair? What do you want to do? And I was like, I'm not going to do anything until they tell me that I need to do anything. Because if I'm going crazy, I'm of no help to anyone. I was prepared, I just never done it on the stage. We hadn't rehearsed. And so in between shows, they told me that she was going to be fine. And then like 2 seconds later, they were like, actually, you're going to be on.
Oh my gosh.
And my eyes got really big, and I looked at my dance captain, and I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm going to document this moment. I'm going to call my family. Then we can go. 8 p.m. showtime, and 2 hours later I'm like in the wings looking across at Casey Levy, just like I'm about to walk center stage and like take a bow as a principal on Broadway. I just bawled my little eyes out.
Of course.
Snotty nose, wipe my nose, grab Casey's hand. I'm like, oh no. But you know,
it was
in the moment. She went with it.
Yes.
But it was a beautiful moment, and yeah, it was just crazy, and it was my first principal on Broadway, and that's a goal of mine, and so reaching that was beautiful. And then afterwards, one of the best moments about that day was walking across the stage, and this woman came up to me and was like, hey, Aisha, I just want to tell you real quick, I was sitting next to 2 African-American girls, and when you came out on stage, she looked up to her mom and was like, Mommy, she looks like me.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, cool. Thank you. I was like, thank you for telling me that. Because that like really, in that moment, made me realize like what I was doing was not really about me. And it's about what God wants to do through me. And, you know, as a standby, we have a lot of moments in the in-between where we're sitting up here and we're just like, I know for myself, I had some mental doubts of just like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Because you're not on stage every day. And you can question like, is this important work that I'm doing? Like, am I making an impact? Like, what is this? And so to hear that feedback, and anytime I heard, you know, someone saying, oh, this little girl's like, Mommy, she looks like me, or I can be a princess because she's a princess, I was reminded that like, yes, it is important. And what you're doing, you're representing, you know, a certain demographic on stage and allowing them to see themselves in this beautiful, funny, quirky, silly, like unapologetically herself role. And yeah, so that was beautiful. It's a nice reminder to know that it's not about how you're feeling on that day or what you might be going through. It's about someone in the audience that needs to see you do it.
There's like a bigger purpose to it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, she's about to stage door for the first time as the first Black Disney princess on Broadway ever. And here we go.
But I feel like, you know, you have really developed a following because people are so excited to celebrate you in this role. So I wanted to hear about you like connecting with the fans.
Ooh, it's been pretty dope.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Good.
In those moments where I have doubted myself and things like that, the fans' support has uplifted me.
Yes.
I had a young woman to message me about her teacher saying that because of her race, she didn't fit in her vision for the character. And this is educational theater.
Right.
Which is like, just let it happen,
Yeah.
you know? Let them learn.
Yep.
Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? You might not fit in her vision, but you do fit in the vision that God has for you.
Oh,
and like,
yes.
don't allow her small-mindedness to keep you from walking in your purpose. And at the end of the year, this student, along with many other students, they created their own show and wrote their own roles for themselves. And like, you know, she made a vision for herself. And so like hearing those stories and just hearing how me stepping into this role has helped someone step up and ask to play roles that they might not be, you know, considered for usually, or just like encourage them or inspire them in such a way. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to have that sort of impact on anyone. And so to see these young women and young men thriving and feeling supported and seen and represented has been like beautiful.
And then you get so much like fan art and
Yeah,
dolls made.
yeah. I got this little doll from Miss Hayden Murphy.
Yes.
She's amazing. Shout out.
Shout
Shout out to Hayden. I asked her to make the Anna doll for Black History Month last year. And I gave them out to little chocolate drops at the stage door so that they could take a piece of this home with them. You know, they came, they saw someone that looked like them on stage,
Right.
and then give them this little nugget to take home with them and just remind them that, like, you can do it too. There was one day this group of students came from PS 107 in the Bronx, and it was cool that like after the show I got to connect with them.
Okay.
I saw them at the stage door, and I love the kitties. I'm just like, and I saw them and I took pictures with them, and just like they're like, can you sign my playbill? Can you sign my playbill? And I connected with their assistant principal,
Oh my gosh.
and she was like, hey, do you want to come to career day? And I was like, yes. So that's a cool connection that like I've been able to make from going on. It's just like when you take that time to open your eyes to these little opportunities, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you make the most of your time here, the most of the opportunity. Yeah.
And see, I feel like there's so many people just reaching out. There's so many more that you're also inspiring that maybe haven't
That you don't
even
even know.
said anything.
Yeah. And then there was this young man who messaged me, and he actually entered the theater. He didn't know that I was going to be on. When he saw that I was going to be on, he didn't feel the greatest about it. You know, he was like, oh, woman of color and, you know, Princess Anna. But by the time he left, his mindset about it had been shifted.
Wow.
Yeah, and he messaged me and we had a nice little conversation about it. And
Wow.
it was beautiful. It started up, I read the message and I was like, where's this going?
Right.
But in the end, he came in feeling one type of way, and then seeing my talent and allowing my work to speak for itself shifted him. And then he was like, oh wow, you taught me a very important lesson today, and I really appreciate that. So those moments were also very rewarding.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
You know, saying that you have the ability and your talent to like change people's minds like that.
Yeah, and we have to like break down these walls and these barriers and change the idea of what women of color are capable of playing.
Yes.
We have many more possibilities to explore.
Multidimensional, y'all.
Yeah.
What do you think you're taking away from this entire experience?
One of the things that I really had to focus on and learn is relinquishing control. Control. I like to know when it's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen, how's this day gonna go. But you know, like as a standby, you don't know how your day's gonna go.
True, that's true.
You have no clue. It can change at the drop of a hat. And so I kind of had to let go of that need to know everything and just like kind of go with the flow and like take it as it comes. I can't control how it comes, but I can control how I react.
Okay, yeah.
And the same way, it was the switching my perspective is a big thing that I've had to learn, and just taking advantage of the opportunity that I've been given and not focusing on my doubts or the negativity or anything like that. And switching my perspective to gratefulness really helped me a lot.
Gratitude.
Yeah, and not the like, I have to go sit upstairs today, or I have to, it's just, I get to. And what can I do with this time? What connections can I make? What impact can I make? Let's make Anna dolls. Let's go talk at Career Day. Let's do a concert. Alyssa and I did a concert for gun reform advocacy with Moms Demand Action. So like, I got to open my brain up and go, okay, let's switch it. Where's the gold? Where's the gold in this situation? What can I do to make this impactful and powerful and like make my time here amazing? And I learned a lot about pacing because it's my first principal, you know, on Broadway. So when I had to do the like 8 shows a week when she was on vacation, it's like, how do you get, you know, through these steps? And my speech pathologist and I like to say vocal cash. Like, how much vocal cash can you spend today? And also because I had extra time, I would do double duty, like working on musicals that are in development during the day and then coming to do Frozen at night. And a lot of the times I would be on while I'm doing double duty, and so it's like, how much cash do you have in the bank to spend? You know, and pace yourself throughout the day and throughout the week so that you can give your best show and just go out there and kill it.
And like your self-care practices have to be on point when it comes to stuff like that.
Sleep. So much sleep, coconut water, ginger fireball, juice press.
Gotta hydrate.
Yeah, you gotta stay hydrated, stay healthy, and you know, warming up, cooling down. I always have a nice little dance party for Anna before I go on.
We love it.
Because sometimes it can be like stressful and you're like, I gotta do this, and we have bridge call, and we have this, and we have that, and I'm like, just breathe. And before I go on stage, I make sure I take a breath. I make sure I say a word of prayer.
Good.
And just remember, you're doing this for somebody out there. Somebody needs to see you out there doing.
Well, so then that begs the question, what's next?
Well, glad you asked. I can't actually talk about it.
Man, I thought we were going to get an exclusive. I was so excited.
I cannot talk about it. I can't talk about it. But what I will say is, it's another Broadway show.
Oh, we love
it's on the way.
To stay booked and blessed.
Booked and blessed, baby. It's on the way. That's what's next. A new exciting musical adventure. And I think also what's next is starting a mentorship program. Yeah, for young women of color. I just want them to be able to connect with other women of color in performing arts and beyond, to just let them know that like your possibilities are limitless. And I think in the same vein, like you need to see it sometimes to know that it's possible. I want to find a way to create a safe space to have discussions about the lack of diversity and representation and inclusivity in the arts. I just think it's something that we have to talk about, and you can't really fix a problem if you don't talk about it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, like on the stage, beyond the wings.
Behind the scenes, in our creative teams, and like casting directors and the writing teams. And I feel like once we get diversity in all of these areas, then the stories that we tell will start to reflect the world that we live in, and look like the world that we live in, and sound like the, you know, just all these different possibilities, and it'll open up the demographic of people that will come to see these shows. Yeah, I think
the whole ecosystem's got to be on point.
Well-rounded.
Ooh,
get it all in there.
Yeah, it's a good extension of what this journey has taught you, I think. So I'm excited.
You know,
and more dance parties to come.
You know,
what advice do you have for aspiring performers?
Okay, let's see. I would say, don't compare yourself to others.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, we all have a unique journey, you know, and if we're focused on someone else's journey and we're not present in our own journey, we can like focus on things that we shouldn't be focusing on. And you're like, well, she's got that or he's got that. And it's like, yeah, but you have this. You have a specific gift and a specific path and a specific journey. So like focus on that. I would say don't compare your journey to others. I would say celebrate others when they win.
That's a really good one. I love that.
Also because you're going to want them to celebrate you when you win.
Listen. Yeah.
So, you know, just treat others the way you desire to be treated.
Yeah. And
I think that's the golden rule. And let's see, the last thing that I would say.
I
love that every part ends in a dance party, you know? Da, da, okay, goodbye. I love it though, the vibes. The vibes, the vibes, the vibes.
You know, this is it. Da da da. Woo.